maybe I am pregnant? Oh man. Oof. I am not feeling well. Yesterday I had planned on doing a vlog, and then poor Kieran came down with the cold that Kameron brought back from Michigan from his work trip, because for some reason every time Kameron travels alone he comes back with a cold. But that's only because I am the hand sanitizer police when we travel. So that's why we don't get sick when I'm there. No offense, Kameron. But I don't feel bad because of being sick. I still, fingers crossed, have not caught the cold that Kameron had. But poor Kieran came down with it, and he's actually only been sick once before, and it really wasn't bad. I think he was like 6 months old, and it was just like a few days of sniffles. But this was like, oh my gosh, a fever that was... It was tough. We set a bunch of alarms to rotate Tylenol and Motrin. And thankfully his fever broke this morning, and he is finally acting a little bit more normal and wanting to play with toys, but it was kind of scary yesterday. It's just crazy how viruses affect people differently. Like Kameron had it for 3 days and it really was like nothing to him. And then Kieran's just like that fever was so hard to control. We had to do, the alternating between the meds, and then, a couple of lukewarm baths to bring it down. And thankfully he kept eating and drinking though. Like he had eggs and sausage in the morning and a little bit of toast throughout the day. And then he wanted some pizza last night, so he ate a slice of pizza, so I'm glad that he was continuing to eat and everything. So I'll just cut to the chase because I'm sure y'all are wondering. I have been testing with the Pregmate strips, and I actually started like right after I bought them. Like why would I start at 7 DPO? That doesn't even make sense. And I took a lot of them because on 8 DPO, I was seeing some weird, like, lines that were, like not, like, the full length, but it was, like, color, white spot, color, white spot. And I was like, that's really weird. And that day, it was, like, they wouldn't show up until the test was dry. And so I was like, these have to be, like... some really weird evap lines, but every single test that I took had that, and I was like, this is crap. Like, why did I spend $16 on these tests that are like giving me awful evap lines, right? So I went online to read some reviews because I was like, what is going on with these tests? And as it turns out, it seems to be a common thing for like super early, that people were saying that they had to wait till the test dried to see a positive result, and they're not very good for they're not very good for what's that when it gets darker? Progression. They're not good for progression, apparently. So, 8 DPO is just like, these have to be EVAPs. 9 DPO yesterday, I was seeing like really super faint lines while it was wet. I was like, okay, now it's just messing with me. Like, now it's just, these are just crappy tests. Hi, sir. And also just the fact that I have never, ever had a faint positive until 12 DPO. I've just never, ever seen anything earlier than 12. And like, so I felt like these tests were just really like crappy tests. So I took out the FRARE, the first response, early response test. Took that, stark white, blazing not pregnant, So this told me that these Pregmate tests were definitely like faulty. There's something wrong with these tests. Because why would I get a light positive result on a cheap test when the early response is negative, And why would there be like 20 of these like light positives if the Frere was negative? It just doesn't make sense to me. A little bit nauseous. So today's 10 DPO, and I took a test in the middle of the night. I want to say like 3 in the morning when I was giving another dose to Kieran. And yeah, there's that pesky evap line, but it's darker. I only have a digital, so because of what happened with the first response, I'm not inclined to take that digi just yet, because I don't want to waste that test, you know what I mean, if it's not going to pick up any HCG. But let me show you my progression from 7 DPO to 10 DPO, because maybe I'm crazy and these are just evap lines, but maybe I am pregnant. Okay, first and foremost, here is the first response, early response, that is supposed to detect pregnancy up to 6 days before your missed period. And as you can see, it is stark white, absolutely no positive, not even a faint line. Now, because I was so skeptical about the lines that I was seeing, I decided to dip a few tests of the Pregmate tests. I decided to dip a few of them in water to see if they got see if they got the hello, this is Coco, to see if they got the same line. Sorry, ADHD. The water ones did not get the same line. So I don't know what else could be causing these lines to show up other than being pregnant. Here's the water one. As you can see, there's no line. 7 DPO, really no line. And then there's this weird line on 8 DPO that, like I said, it's like line, white, you know, and they were all like that. That's why I was like, I must have taken them wrong. Like, maybe I left it in the urine too long. Maybe I'm counting too long, or maybe I didn't, you know, maybe I went over the max line or something. And I thought this has to be dye run. But then we go to 9 DPO, which was yesterday, which is when I took this, this first response that is completely negative. And then 10 DPO today. And as you can see, those are pink lines. And again, I'm skeptical as hell because I've never used these tests, and it was just so weird that so many of these tests had that white spot and then, you know, and then pink and then white. So I took another test today with second morning urine, and then I also dipped another test in water. And let's look at the comparison. Top one's water, bottom one is second morning urine. I think it's safe to say that I am pregnant. And you know, I think I knew before. I think I knew immediately, you know? I think I knew. And, you know, I'm extremely lucky, and I feel very blessed to, sorry, I feel a little nauseous in my throat. I feel very blessed. Don't eat the pea sticks, that's disgusting. Kittens. God, I'm trying to have a moment here, Coco. I'm so incredibly grateful that on the first cycle of trying, you know, and it's just incredible when you're very, very in tune with your body, and you can feel when your ovary releases the egg, and you can feel when that is it a blastocyst at that point? When it embeds into your uterine lining. Like, I felt that. I felt that on 5 and 6 DPO. And then I felt it a lot yesterday on 9 DPO, but it wasn't like the stabby, stinging feeling like I felt on 5 and 6. Wow, nausea. I never get nausea with pregnancy. That's interesting. Yep, sorry. Brain's all over the place. I didn't sleep very well last night. But yeah, there were too many signs that were like, this is definitely happening, you know? And then yesterday, I was just so dizzy, and then like randomly nauseous. And this morning, I'm kind of nauseous. So, there's still part of me that's skeptical about these tests. I don't know why. And part of me that really doesn't believe it still. And when I was showing Kameron the tests before, like from those other days, he was like, no, there's something wrong with these tests. Even he was like, no, there's no way, you know, there's no way you're picking this up at 8 DPO, you know. But I did. And I'm really shocked. I'm really honestly shocked that cheap tests picked that up and the first response didn't. How bizarre. I think I am going to wait to test again in a couple of days. Maybe use that digital in a couple of days. So that'll be 12 DPO. And then, because I've never used a digital before, it'll just be nice to see the words pregnant or not pregnant, you know, just sort of as a confirmation. This is so wild. I really hope that this is it, and I really hope that this is our pot of gold baby, and I hope this baby makes it to term, and that we get to bring this baby home. That would just be so amazing.